What's up, good people? Let me know that you can hear me in the chat by typing rest in power. Rest in power if you can hear me in the chat. Today, we have gotten devastating news about the loss of Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who was near and dear to a certain generation, and I am a part of that generation. And I swear, when I got that news text from my best friend, it just threw the whole rest of my day off. I felt like someone had told me that someone in my family had passed away. But before we get into all of that, as all of you are starting to get in, please hit that like button if you have not as of yet. And please share this video as well. As I just honestly wanted to treat this like a celebration of life, almost like a memorial. It's not like I know him personally. Many of us don't. But I wanted to bond with other people who feel this in a real way, like I did when I heard the news. So I just put together a little bit of a tribute where we'll just kind of talk about his life and what he meant and reminisce a little bit. And then we're going to get on out of here because it's late and it's a work night. But hey, Trey Keisha, I ain't seen you in forever, friend. Good to see you. And thank you to the 88% of you who have liked and shared this video. Greatly appreciated. And if you have not as of yet, please like and share the video as soon as you can. It is free to you, but it is invaluable to me and the growth of my platforms. So we're just going to get right into it. So basically, for those of us who grew up with Malcolm-Jamal Warner, he wasn't just an actor to us. He was definitely Theo, even though through some of my research today, I was learning that he preferred not to be called Theo. He was like, he valued that experience. It was a great time of his life, etc. But he always wanted to be referred to as who he actually was as a human, and that is Malcolm. But he was, as the character Theo, and even afterwards, he was like basically like a brother, a cousin, a friend, and for some of you, even a crush. And I mean, he wasn't hard on the eyes at all. So basically, we're going to begin this celebration of life in the spirit of love, laughter, and reminiscing on Black excellence. Really, when you really look at this man's life, he was definitely one of our Black icons, and so young, 54. So basically, Malcolm-Jamal Warner passed away on July 20th of 2025, which was yesterday, at the age of 54. He was on vacation with his family in Costa Rica when he tragically drowned after being caught in a powerful ocean current. And they said despite heroic efforts by bystanders and the Costa Rican Red Cross, he was pronounced lifeless at the scene. So he didn't even make it from the scene. And they said the official cause of death was asphyxiation due to drowning. And the news, has definitely rocked the world internationally. And because, it feels very personal when you talk about somebody like this. And then, like, for him to be a child star, and he didn't have any, like, drama. He wasn't getting out the limousines with his balls hanging out. Nothing, no scandals. No real scandals. Except for, we'll get to it at the end, but I will say the Regina King thing threw me off a little bit. Some of y'all know the story, some of y'all don't. Well, I'm going to tell it. I believe in telling the full story. So, little bit of, right, Renee? A little bit of his background. Malcolm was born on August the 18th. Oh my God. So he's about to be 55. He didn't even make it to his 55th birthday. But he was born on August 18th of 1970 in Jersey City, New Jersey. And he was also named after Malcolm X and a jazz pianist, Ahmad Jamal. He was raised by a strong and determined woman, his mother Pamela, who also served as his manager. And by the age of 9, Malcolm knew what he wanted to do, which was perform, and he did. After enrolling in acting school, he eventually graduated from the Professional Children's School in New York City. And then how we got to know him in mass was back in the day when the Cosby Show was out. This was a time where it was must-see TV. This was back before we had, 5011 streaming channels where everything is just so diluted and none of us can even keep up with even the shows we like. We'll start watching them and forget they exist. This wasn't that time. This was a time where every Thursday, wasn't it Thursday night on NBC, y'all? Thursday night at 8? Was it Thursday night at 8 or 7? It was 8, wasn't it? Thursday nights, NBC, Cosby Show. We was all there. Millions upon millions of us were being raised by the Cosby Show. And Bill Cosby before we knew what Bill Cosby really is. But still near and dear to our heart. And we grew up with them. Again, some of us, Malcolm was, like a brother, a cousin. You could identify with him. Some of y'all had crushes on him. Some of us had crushes on him. No, stop. This is a memorial. This is a tribute to life. Let me get it together. So, the show was amazing. A black, successful family. We didn't really get to see that. It was, even though we had the Jeffersons came from rags to riches. The Huxtables was the elite. They were the haves, not the have-nots. And they were very intelligent and well-spoken and expected highly of their children. And their children got into things that those of us who were adolescents and teenagers during those years, the same kind of stuff we got into, the same shenanigans. So it was really a television show that changed the world. And Theo was like everybody's, it wasn't just a character. He was like the son in a household full of love and expectations and chaos and comedy. It was all of it. So it goes on to say his breakout role came when he landed the part of Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, a cultural juggernaut that ran from 1984 to 1992. And Malcolm was only 14 years old when the show started. And from the moment that he appeared on the screen, Malcolm embodied the smart, stylish, sometimes misguided, but always lovable teen that we always rooted for. And that's so true as well, because even when he got in his shenanigans, we was always rooting for Theo. That he wouldn't really get in big trouble. And his Emmy-nominated performance helped redefine the image of a black family on television. Then we have his headshot from back then. Many of us remember that. Oh, and then this one. Do y'all remember this scene? This was the scene where, wasn't he talking about quitting school or something? And Heathcliff, a.k.a. Bill Cosby, was teaching him how he needs an education to make real money because his plan for whatever he was planning to do wasn't gonna get him $5, and he took the monopoly money, and by the end he was broke and hadn't even ate yet or something. Oh my God, good times, good times. Then the other one, I'll put a poll question out for this one. Who remembers this? This episode here is an absolute classic. Who remembers this? The Gordon Gartrell episode of The Cosby Show. What was it? Denise who made the shirt? Was the shirt $100? I can't even remember how much the shirt was. But she was like, "You can just give me even a piece of that, and I'm gonna make you the same shirt." And that's what he ended up with. Oh my God, good times. Oh my God. So the article goes on to say that Theo was more than just funny. He was relatable. He struggled in school. He challenged his parents. He wanted to be understood, and in many ways, he helped many youth during that time see themselves in him. So true. But even beyond that, as the Cosby Show ended and he moved on with his career. Unlike many child stars from around that time, he actually thrived. His legacy, during his legacy, he won a Grammy for his poetic tribute to victims of the Sandy Hook tragedy. And it goes on to say he didn't stop with Theo. He went on to star in Malcolm and Eddie with Eddie Griffin. I think I watched a little bit of that show, but I never kind of stuck with that show. Did any of y'all watch it? He played Dr. Alex Reed in Read Between the Lines. I don't remember that one. And he portrayed A.J. Austin on The Resident. Now that's the image I have here. That show was good. I actually binge watched it last year, and it had already, I think, been off the air. But his character, he was such a good actor that I despised his character in the beginning because he was such an asshole. But I got to love the character. But even it was because I knew it was Malcolm-Jamal Warner. It was like, I don't want to hate the character because it's Malcolm, but the fact that he can make me hate him as a character and yet, admire him as a person, proves that he definitely was a good actor. If you've never seen The Resident, I highly recommend it. You really see him with his acting chops because you don't see no Theo in that character. But he also directed episodes of The Cosby Show, Kenan and Kel, and even The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was a director, an actor, a poet, and a musician. He released the jazz funk album and won Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance with Robert Glasper and Layla Hathaway, and performed powerful spoken word pieces. I didn't know that part about him having tracks with Robert Gasper and Layla Hathaway, and I love Layla. I love Robert Gasper too. Anyway, one of his final projects was the podcast Not All Hood, which he launched in 2024. It was his vulnerable space to discuss mental health and the diverse layers of Black identity. In the final episode before his passing away, just 2 days before his passing away, included his powerful reflection, and where he was quoted as saying, "Black survival in and of itself is Black excellence." So just the mere fact that we are surviving is Black excellence. And amen to that. Amen to that. So on the personal side, they say that Malcolm loved hard. He dated a few actresses, including Michelle Thomas. I meant to pull a picture, I forgot. Including Michelle Thomas, who was also like a young actress. She was on The Cosby Show, but she unfortunately passed in 1998. And they say that he stayed by her side all the way to her final moments. And then he had long-term relationships with Karen Molina and Melina White. I'm not sure who that is. I got to Google her. And then Regina King. Now, I knew about this because I loved Regina King. You know, for some of y'all, 227, she was a child star as well. And then, I don't know if do y'all know the breakup story? Hold on, let me close this poll and ask if y'all know the breakup story. Do you remember the Gordon Gartrell episode? 87% of y'all do. 13% of y'all, well, I was going to say, you need to watch the show, but I don't even know if you can. Is the show still out? Can you even find The Cosby Show? I felt like it was slowly coming back, but I can't remember if that was a dream. Do you know of the who is it? Regina King and breakup story? Do you know? Do you know of how they broke up? Ignore the title. I mean, I just randomly threw something up there, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, you said TV1. Thank you. Let me pull the chat over here. Saying TV1 plays The Cosby Show reruns. Okay, that's good to know. Good. It's back. Kind of. Oh, I forgot about them. Beauty Fashion said Karen White was Erica Alexander's fast-talking friend Charmaine on the Cosby Show. I remember, and I forgot that they did date. I didn't know. Wow, okay. Let's see. 68%, 67, 65. So the majority of you do not know about the Regina King, Malcolm X story. Not Malcolm, Malcolm Jamal story. No slight. I'm just telling the full life story of Malcolm. So Regina King has been on interviews and explained that yes, they were together for, many years. And she was actually, in her words, she was blindsided by the breakup. And she says that Malcolm Jamal broke up with her on Valentine's Day. And they were living together. Well, she was living in his house. And he just came to her and was like, this ain't working no more. I want out. And you and your son got to get out. So, and then she says he sent her flowers like a day or two later or whatever. And she threw them in the trash. But yeah. So I don't know what that was about, because, that's only her version of the story. You don't know. She could be toxic. I don't know. I never knew her personally. But I always rooted for them. I thought they made a great couple, and just the idea they were child stars. But, reality is something different. So, but yeah. And then finally, says just 2 days before his death, Malcolm released a podcast. And I caught, he was on somebody's show or something I was watching, and I found out about the podcast, and it was newer, and I ended up watching part of an episode, but I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. But they said just 2 days before his death, Malcolm released a podcast episode where he said something that has struck, this was someone being quoted saying, stuck with me ever since, that black survival in and of itself is black excellence. He said after reflecting on black soldiers' erased histories and the resilience we carry. That is so true. And they were quoted as saying, he reminded us that just by surviving in this world, we are already extraordinary. In spite of all the odds, that is so true. So rest in power to Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who we know as an actor, a poet, father, friend. We did also learn, and I'm not sure how many of you knew. I guess I'm going to ask that as a poll question because I'm curious, because I was shocked. Did you know that Malcolm was married with a child, with a daughter? Did you know? Because as I was reading this, I'm like, what? Huh? I thought he was single. I ain't gonna say I necessarily thought he didn't have nobody, but I definitely didn't think he was married. I thought he was still a bachelor. They said he was married with a child and keeps that part of his life, or kept that part of his life, completely under wraps. But I guess after you've dated so many famous women and had your relationships in the public light, maybe that was part of what made him say, this time around I'm doing it different. So I'm assuming that his wife is not, is not in the celebrity world. So, right. Debbie is saying one of the 90s heartthrobs. Absolutely. And I mean, from teenager all the way to his 50s, looking good. I mean, that's what we all pray for. Look at that. You got a side by side. That man looked like he aged about 5 years from his 14-year-old. He probably was 18 or something in that picture. I mean, he ain't aged a bit. Oh, I'm trying to find the chat again. I'm like, what was I looking Okay, I'm gonna read a couple comments and then I'm gonna let y'all all go because it's late and it's 10 on the East Coast, and my East Coast Veep will be reminding me, you be up too late. Yeah, I loved him in The Residence as well. That was great. Yes, Regina King relationship is wild. Yeah, the way I don't know if you know more than what I just shared, but just the way that that he broke up with her, at least her version of the way he broke up, because some of us have been in situations where people have claimed that our breakup or our relationship went in the way that you're like, where do you get that from? Where is this narrative coming from? So I can't say for sure, but I can tell you what she said in public. His birthday is exactly a week before mine. Well, happy early birthday, friend. It still is. I watch it every day. Shout out to TV1. Yeah, I'm glad that TV1 brought it. Right, it was Thursdays at 8 p.m. The Cosby Show came on, premiered every week. We were there. That was, wait, if it started in the 80s, that was even before we had DVRs. I think the best we could do was record it on VHS, right? But then you had to have a fancy VCR to be able to time it. And I think the only way you could time it to start recording was by how many hours. You couldn't set the actual time. You couldn't say at 8 p.m. You had to say, okay, it's 6 now, and I needed to record at 8 because we were going to be gone. So that's 2 hours from here. And you have to hit the button until you get to 2 hours, and then the VCR pop on automatically in 2 hours. But if you mess up the time and you accidentally put 3 hours when it was only 2 hours before the show started, by the time your recording started, the show was just ending. It was the closing credits. Trust me, I've lived. I've lived. I know these things. But yeah, y'all, I just needed to bond a little bit and share with y'all and allow us to reminisce together, because that news this afternoon was absolutely nerve-wracking and all that stuff. But this was an impromptu live. It was not planned because none of us planned for this. But I will be back with a live later this week. Don't know what we'll be talking about, but we'll be talking about something. So with that, thank y'all for joining me this evening. Again, rest in power to Malcolm-Jamal Warner, his family, his daughter, his wife, and all his loved ones. And with that, until next time, until I upload the next video, y'all make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.